Now then, here we are, and I have got something to show you. A van. Not just any van, this is my van. And I am going to convert this into a camper over the next sort of couple of months and get it out on the road as soon as possible, so I can venture further into far off lands all around the UK and beyond, into Europe, and who knows, I might end up taking over the world. What a fine specimen of a van it is. It is a VW CADDY MAXI, and I have chosen this out of all the different types of van out there because I think it's going to suit my needs the best. It is a thing of beauty. I have searched far and wide to find this girl, and it has taken some doing. I have ploughed through the internet for weeks, even months on end, just to find something that is affordable within my budget. Honestly, it was like finding rocking horse shit, but I finally found a bargain. And honestly, I'm absolutely made up by it, and I cannot wait to start converting this properly into a camper. As I'm sure you already know, if you want to get hold of a full camper van already converted, or one that's factory made, they cost an arm and a leg, or at least one kidney. So for me, I do not have that to spare because I need my kidneys and I need both my arms and my legs for my adventures. So I am going to convert this on a very limited budget. I won't say very limited actually, I'm going to say fairly limited, because what I do not want to do is cut corners, because that always comes back and bites you later on. So I'm going to make sure this van is done properly, and the way I'm going to keep the budget down is to use my very, very clever brain and come up with some amazing design ideas which will hopefully be things that are completely unique and that people have not seen before, and because of that I guarantee people are going to copy it. So join me on my join me on my Volkswagen Vanveld. So these videos I'm going to put in amongst all my other videos, which are all adventure based. And if you're new to the channel, check out my back catalogue, because I have got some absolutely awesome adventures in some amazing places. I get the drone out and I make sure that I show these places off to their full glory. So let's give you a van tour, and I'll show you where I'm at already, and we'll go through my design brief and all the different ideas that I want to put into it. There's one thing I've done already in there, and I'll show you that now, because if you've got a van or you're thinking about converting a van, it's an absolute must, and my design is pretty damn awesome. I'm well proud of it. So let's get on. Welcome to my space rocket. It's not exactly a rocket though, because it's a 1.6 diesel, and I've never actually had a nice car in my life. I've been driving since I was 17 and I'm 44 now. The first car I had was a 1 litre Nova, which was a hand-me-down from my granddad, and that was full of feathers because he used to race pigeons, and it had sheepskin seats in it. Lovely. From that I went on to an Astra, so a slight upgrade, and then I got a Defender, which I had for 13 years, which was awesome, the coolest vehicle ever made, but just hard work, that's all, because they just leak in and there's just always moisture on the windows and everything. And from that I went on to my Discovery. But all these vehicles, they're just old and tatty, and I've never had like a really nice one where I could just sit back, put some cruise control on and enjoy the ride. Which brings me on to this. Now this one is, it's old, but she's a looker. I've got to say, she's a looker for her age, and obviously it is going to do the purpose that I need it for, and that is to be a camper. So far what I have done in here is, well, firstly I've stripped everything out. As you can see, all the ceiling panels have come off, the side panels have come off, loads of plastic trims are out. Down on that far end there, I've taken out all the headliner, and there's a big sort of shelf above it as well. And that has just allowed me to actually get insulation put into the places which usually you can't really get into. Like, not many people take the headliner out. For the sake of an extra half an hour or hour's work, you can obviously insulate it right through, so definitely worth doing. I've also banged in a few wires here and there, so as you can see we've got some wires, we've got some thick wires for some 240 stuff. Lights are going to go in, we're going to have some 12 volt charging sockets, USB ports. I need to be able to sort of put in like my TV thing and everything. So Anyway, it's getting to a point now where I feel I'm on top of it because I know where I'm going. I'm not going to go through the insulation that I've used yet, just know that I've done it right. We've got like sound deadening on all the sort of major panels and the wheel arches, and then I've coated it with another layer of insulation, and then I have got a product that I'm going to run through the whole sort of roof and sides of this, which I don't really think anyone will have used before, but I come from a building background, so check that out because it might be of interest to you. I'll quickly show you though one thing that I've made already, which is awesome. Now if you look in the back here, we've got one blacked out window and one clear window, and I made these blackouts, which are honestly brilliant. I'm well happy with it, and I pretty much guarantee that people will want to copy the design of it. And pretty much we have just this sort of rigid board here, which has got a waterproof cover on one side which goes against the window, and on the other side we have got carpet. And inside this, it has got some insulation, so it is doing some sound deadening from the sound coming in and out, and also the main thing, it is blocking the light, so you can stealth camp and no one's going to know you're in there. Are you ready to watch perfection? It's a bit cocky saying that, I know, but if the light police are coming, whoa, the light police, within a second they can't do anything about it. That is just brilliant. Honestly, I'm so proud of that. I think it's going to be something that many people will like to copy, and I will be making a video showing exactly how I made these. I also had to put a little tab on, if you notice here, just to be able to pull it back off again, because it fits so tightly. Awesome, eh? This is the bottom of the range Volkswagen Caddy, and because of that it pretty much has no features whatsoever. So anything that's going to be nice in this van I'm going to have to add. The first upgrade that I've already done is actually change the stereo, so I might do a video on that, because this one has got the Apple Play, which is what I need, because then I can use sat nav and play music. The music system is terrible, the speakers are really bad, and it is like just listening to people have a conversation in a biscuit tin. That's how bad it is. So I am going to upgrade a little bit on the speakers when I get a bit of extra money. I've pre-wired the speakers here, as you can see, because I think I'll be able to add some rear speakers in there. And when I chatted some specialists about it, they were saying, oh, you need to buy this 40 quid for this loom to be able to allow the speakers to work in the back. I was like, surely it's simpler than that. So I actually spent £2.67 on a couple of little connectors, and I've connected in the back of the stereo, and that has allowed me to have speakers running in the back. And I've tested them, it works. So yeah, could be a good hack, and I might include that in one of the future videos. The dash is just so basic. There's pretty much nothing on it. And we even have wind up windows. I mean, you just do not find those in cars anymore. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one to convert and try make pretty, and there is a few more upgrades that I will be doing along the way. It's just cool though, it really is cool, and honestly I just can't tell you how excited I am about doing this. I'm going to build some sort of storage unit all on this side, which might incorporate, I don't know, could have anything in it, who knows, but there'll be videos related to everything I do. I mean, here we've got a load of stainless steel sheeting. This is going to make my kitchen, so that's going to be pretty cool, and that is going to be set out on those back doors so I can sort of generally cook outside. This side I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I think I'll probably keep it fairly open, because that's something that I'm going to sit against, and I'm going to have a single bed running through here, which hopefully I can also make into a double, because that is a necessary thing. What else? I've still got the seat belts in here because I need this vehicle to be able to transport more than 2 people as well. So I've got the original seats which are going to sit in here as and when I need them, and obviously you need seat belts for that. So what do I require from this van? What is my design brief? Well, firstly, I need it to be more fuel efficient, because I'm used to driving the thirstiest vehicle ever, being a Land Rover Discovery, and that laps fuel up. Honestly, it just laps it up for fun. It's like a dog in a heat wave, it really is. So I did some maths, and this is going to save me about 1/3 in fuel, which is a massive amount of money over a year. And also to do with the tax as well, this is 200 and something to tax a year, whereas my Discovery was 630. So again, a big saving there, which is great. I need this van to sleep me comfortably, and I want it to have a permanent bed set up as well, because I don't want to be faffing about trying to make a bed every day. It's just not for me, that. And obviously the dog needs to sleep in here. I'd like to be able to change it from being a single into a double as well, so it just allows me and Nicola to sleep in here together as well and go on some cool adventures. I also need loads of storage. I've got so much gear that I need for my adventures, and I chop and change just depending on the weather or where I'm going. So I need to be able to sort of store everything nice and safe, and so I know where it all is. And I've come up with an absolutely fantastic idea, which is honestly brilliant, and I've not seen it done before, so that is definitely one that people will copy in the future. And with that storage, I need it to be all accessible from the inside, because you know some people pull out all these drawers and everything which go out the back or the side of the vehicle, and that's great, you know, in summer when it's all dry, but here in the UK it's just pissing it down all the time, so you need to make sure that you can access everything from the inside. I also need to be able to put my kayak on the roof, so I've already put some roof bars up there, so that will accommodate that. I need to be able to put a bike inside here, because I don't want to have a bike on the outside, because that just looks like something that people can steal. Having a bike, I think, is a necessary thing, because it just allows you to park outside of a town and then get on your bike and venture into the town, explore, see the sights, buy some food, all that, bring it back to your van, and it just allows you to have that sort of freedom of movement with it. It's also pretty awesome because I can get out and do some exercise as well, so if I'm out for a couple of weeks and I think rather than just go for a run, I can get on my bike and go for a nice bike ride. I also require some sort of office space which will just allow me to put my iPad down on some sort of desk, and place to charge all my batteries for the drone, the GoPro, everything like that, which also means I need some power. So to power the whole back of this, I don't want to be messing about doing the leisure battery thing at all. I am going to use one of my EcoFlow power stations to power it all, so hopefully I can make it work to plug and play all that back and give me some sustainable energy, which means I need some solar panels on the roof as well. So that's another key item that I'm going to have to fit. I wanted the van to be either white or silver in colour as well, because obviously if you've got a dark car in summer, they are horrendously hot. And I do not want to be travelling around Europe somewhere warm and having a very hot vehicle to come back to and try get to sleep in, because it is just going to be a nightmare, that. So a white or silver vehicle definitely reflects the heat a lot better, as does a ton of insulation. So I'm going to make sure that I insulate this fully just to keep the heat out mainly, and in winter I guess some of the heat in. So that's another key thing to think about. I'll also need some sort of basic toilet system, purely because I don't want to get caught out anywhere. That could be drastic. And obviously having the blackouts just means you can use your toilet in private. And with that as well, if I'm on elongated adventures which are more than a couple of days, then it probably would be ideal to have some sort of shower, a way of washing. So rather than just jumping in a river and doing it, which is something that I will probably commonly do anyway, I think some sort of water system that I can actually shower under would be of benefit. I'll have a think about that one. So buying a van within budget was tricky, to say the least. This van is quite desirable because many people do turn them into campers, and because of that it just keeps the prices quite high. So to buy something that had less than 100,000 miles on was just a no-go. This has actually got 112,000 miles on it, and it is a 2012. Pretty good condition, although it has been used as a builder's van in the past, so it's a bit sort of battered and scratched up in the back, but it's now that I can't sort out. But to find a bargain was tough. I searched on Facebook Marketplace, on Auto Trader, Gumtree, all the usual sort of candidates for that, and I just kept looking and looking and looking. And I rang up a few places and I went to see a couple of different ones. One was quite a funny one because I emailed somebody about a not quite too good to be true offer, but it was a good offer, and they then said, oh, I'm selling it for somebody else, contact this person. So I sent another email. Anyway, they got back to me and they gave me this story. It was some woman apparently saying, oh, I've divorced my husband, and you know, as part of the settlement I've ended up with his pride and joy van, and I just want to get rid of it, just as a bit of a spite thing. And I was just thinking, okay, I might be able to capitalise on that. Anyway, straight away, the next email came through about it, and it was almost like, you know, another sort of sob story about something. And it was sort of saying that pretty much, oh yeah, really good, you know, I'd love to sort of sell you the vehicle, this, that and the other. I'm out of this country at this time and all this. You can make a payment through this thing. And I'm like, are you kidding? So I just had a double check of a few of the little things, and there was a few little telltale signs that this was a complete scam. So I'd never replied after that point. And one of the telltale signs was that this guy had set up a Facebook account in 2023. So I was like, this is definitely fake. Anyway, just be aware that there are people out there trying to scam you out of money. And if the deal is too good to be true, like anything in life, it generally is.
Look after your money, main thing.
So most of the vans were at least 8 grand each, and that is just too much money for me. And for anything really decent, it was 10, 12, even 15,000 pounds. So I had to find something that would suit me a little bit better. And when I finally found this, I paid £5,200 for it. So for me, that is affordable, and all I need to do is sell my Discovery to finance it, and hopefully I'll just have enough money to put a bit into it as well. Being, I don't know, what am I going to spend on converting it? I mean, most people will spend probably between £5,000 and £15,000 converting a van. I'm probably looking at maybe 1,500. At tops, it'll be £2,000, because yeah. So this is why I need to be clever with it, just to make sure that the design suits the budget, but is still cool and does everything I need it to do. What I liked about this van is the fact that it had 5 seats, which I need. It's got rear factory fit windows, which obviously mean you get a lot of light in there, and as you've seen already, I can blacken that out. It's long enough in the back to fit me comfortably sleeping at 6 foot tall. You could probably fit someone like 6.5 foot, I reckon. So definitely a good van for that. I like the fact that it's pretty basic, you know, things like having the wind down windows, because that just means that there's less to go wrong. And if you're out and about in the middle of nowhere and something does go wrong that's electrical, then there's not much you can do about it. Whereas, you know, if you're just working in a basic fashion, you can generally sort it out yourself, or a garage can do it without having to mess about ordering extra parts. This has also got barn doors, which I prefer, because that just allows me to use those doors as a way of putting a bit of storage on, and maybe have some sort of flip out table which I can put my stove on for cooking. It's a bit of swings and roundabouts with rear doors, because the ones that flip upwards are great because it gives you a shelter straight away. So it allows, especially in the UK, just to keep yourself out of the rain while you are messing about in the back. It does come with a couple of issues, this van, and whilst I was buying it I did realise, but that also allowed me to barter on the price. One of those issues is that I think it's had a bit of a touch on this side, whether it's scraped against a bollard or something like that. It's nothing major, but there was a few telltale signs. Firstly, we had a bit of a trim that's off here. This trim has not been fitted again correctly, so it's definitely been taken off. Also, there is an aerial in that wing mirror which doesn't work. And if I just take you out, let's get out and show you this. This was the first thing that I noticed. But down here, if you can see this trim, we've got probably a 3mm gap there. And down at the bottom, it's down to 1mm. And at this point, the door actually catches. So there's a little bit of movement in that possibly. And also we've got a tiny touch there. And this one at the back. So it isn't perfect, but that did allow me just to bargain on the price a little bit, which helped. And to be fair, I wouldn't want to have a perfect vehicle anyway, because when you're driving it, it's almost like you're anxious all the time to keep it in that pristine condition. When it's not pristine, you actually drive it and use it like it should be used. So that suits me better, hence why I've always had older cars. She's pretty awesome though. Another good thing about it, look up here. We have a black roof. So the fact that it's got a black roof will just allow me to put solar panels on there, and it will be more stealth because you won't really notice them. So it will sort of seem more like just a van rather than a camper van. So that will just allow me to sleep in places without getting annoyed by the locals. So there we go, this is my van, which I'm going to convert into a micro camper, and it's going to allow me to venture further afield into the unknown to make even better videos. I honestly cannot wait. I'm going to do it in a simple way, but it's going to be very functional, and hopefully it will tick all the boxes that I need it to. I just need it as a place to store some gear, get me and the dog safely to some amazing places on this earth, and a place to lay our lugs. Also, I need to be able to make a good cup of Yorkshire tea, just to remind me of home. Oh, it is freezing out there. I've just been chatting to one of my subscribers for quite a while, so it was nice meeting you, mate. Anyway, give the video a big fat thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber yourself already, then please subscribe and keep watching me on my van build journey. I'll still be putting my usual videos out, adventuring with my dog up some mountains, and just trying to give a bit of inspiration for people to get outside and enjoy life a little bit more. Anyway, from me, there's no blue. We'll see you another time. Take care.